Welcome everyone. I am Omar Ijazi, the lead of the Mountain Ecosystem Thematic Group. I join you from Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada. 95% of British Columbia is actually on unceded traditional First Nations territory, and I thank the First Nations who are the custodians for taking care of these lands and waterways since time immemorial. My co-lead is Sijuti Basu, who is based in the state of Haryana in India. Sajuti will be joining you in person in this online interactive event. The Mountain Ecosystems Group is a diverse network of practitioners, researchers, and activists who are interested in just conservation in our mountain ecosystems. We're spread all over the globe, and we occupy positions in the conservation meta universe. Some of us work in government ministries, other in universities, and in national and international NGOs. And some of us are immersed in local grassroots conservation efforts. The aim of our group is to draw attention to present action-focused, social justice-driven research on pressing and emerging topics that the membership thinks should be further centered within ecosystem management and nature conservation more broadly. So in this way, the Mountain Ecosystems Group contributes to, CM's overall mission of providing expert guidance on ecosystem approaches to management, but with a real interest in things like social justice, human rights, and equity. I'm based at a university, and given the kinds of resources I have, our focus on this intersessional period is to develop a series of knowledge products in the form of open access, peer-reviewed publications, and edited volumes. Our most recent effort is an open access edited volume called Critical Approaches to Gender in Mountain Ecosystems, which was jointly authored by our amazing members with the intention of highlighting the need to pay continual attention to gender in nature conservation. For this work period, we're proposing four similar peer-reviewed open access edited volumes. The first one is centered on Indigenous and local knowledges, given how Indigenous and local communities are the custodians of this planet. So how can we work in honest collaboration with them as equal partners and equal thinkers? This work is well underway and it's just about to be submitted to the IUCN editorial board for approval. Our second planned volume is on displacement and migration. I think we already know that forced migration and disaster displacement are one of the most devastating consequences of climate change. And the relationship between migration and the environment in mountain areas is not new, given how a lot of people from these spaces have a long history and tradition of migration as a strategy to cope with limited resources and opportunities. So forced migration due to climate change adds another dimension to these historical processes, and we want to center that within the conservation thinking and action and literature. A third project, which is another publication, and that we hope will be centered on the environmental, social, and economic recovery from COVID-19, given how the pandemic has impacted on multiple areas that impact life in the mountain ecosystems. For example, things like sustainable tourism and even agricultural practices, given how the supply chain was heavily disrupted. In some cases, it's still disrupted. And our final product or knowledge intervention will be centered on nature-based solutions to a variety of environmental challenges, including climate change-induced disasters. So linking all this to the IUCN program, for this period, the two prioritized priority program areas would be people and land. So our work will be, connecting with impact target 1 in the people category and impacts target 1 and 2 in the land priority area. Some of the main challenges for this group, well, we're a group of volunteers, and many of our authors come from smaller organizations with limited or little financial support. It'll be nice to have the resources to provide our authors with some kind of honorariums because the effort that goes into producing a publication is significant. And while I'm based, in a Western university, I have that kind of support, but many of our authors don't. And this is, I think, particularly important if you want to broaden the kind of voices that are permitted within the conservation sphere, particularly from the global south, from local communities, and so on. Another challenge we have is that our working capacity is in English, that alienates some of our writers who write and think in other languages. It would be nice to have, the capability to publish not only in English but in other languages. And finally, it would be great if you had the scope to further push the interface of these publications with actual policy uptake. My impulse automatically is to produce knowledge. I am an academic, but if people have reminded me, knowledge is only useful if it is put to use. So how do we actually kind of strengthen the uptake of these ideas within the policy sphere? And I'll stop here. Thank you.